Everyone, welcome to today's webinar. So maybe let's just take a minute or two to allow some of the attendees who might have problems connecting to the system. So we'll just begin in about a minute's time. So hi guys, once again welcome to today's webinar where I'll be sharing with you the top 10 challenges faced by the HR community and how we can overcome them easily with the help of a robust HRMS. So I'm the speaker for today. My name is Ting Kang and I'm a sales consultant at IQ Dynamics. So in today's webinar, I'll be running through the top 10 biggest challenges faced in the HR sector, and to help with my illustration, I'll be showcasing them using a case study based on the employee life cycle. So lastly, there's going to be a Q&A session for you to post any questions that you might have. So first up, a bit of background about us. So IQ Dynamics has been around since 1994, and we specialize in human capital management solution. So our system HIQ is a localized enterprise-grade solution that is widely recognized by HR professional network platforms such as HRM Asia, SHRI, and Human Resources. So how did these top 10 challenges come about? So based on a recent study done by the Society for Human Resource Management, we have consolidated and identified the top 10 biggest challenges in the HR industry, and I'm sure many of you will find it very familiar and relatable. So let us begin. So the 10 challenges can actually be categorized into the 5 different R's, which are recruiting, rewarding, reviewing, retooling, and routing. So these 5 R's actually form the cornerstone of human resource management, and they are present in every company's framework. So to illustrate the problems clearer, I'll be running through them using examples of how these challenges are evident in the different phases of an employee life cycle and how you can easily mitigate all these challenges with the help of a robust and comprehensive HRMS. So the first R that every employee begins from is recruit. So the main challenges faced in recruitment is often finding the right person with the right skill set for the right job. So this challenge is further aggravated by the competitiveness in both the talent and labor market. So it means that your recruitment processes has to be streamlined to be fast and effective at identifying the right talent and getting them on board with you as soon as possible. So in my scenario, I have an urgent job vacancy for the position of junior engineer, and I'm looking for a candidate who has at least a year experience in the field. So right now we have Janice who is applying for this job, and we are seeing how our recruitment system can actually qualify her and bring her on board with us. So I believe many of you are familiar with typical recruitment management system. However, our system is designed to go an extra step further to provide you with many different ways to source for candidates to add to your recruitment pool. So it comes with a career portal where you can post the jobs and link it to your corporate website. And this career portal is designed with a website theme in mind. So if you're looking to publish the job onto public job portals such as JobsDB or JobStreet, we're able to build interfaces for this kind of integration as well. If you're working with external recruiters, you can delegate a job to them and impose certain access control rights to allow them to source for candidates for you and qualify them for you. So let's say the recruitment exercise is a huge success and you now have a huge pool of candidates. So it's not practical to interview and screen them one by one, and it's very time consuming. So what do? So in order to qualify and sieve out those who have experience and knowledge, so our system allows you to create questionnaires that you can send to the candidates prior to the interview to qualify them. So all these different questionnaires, it could either be skills related, it could be psychometric, or simply just a personality test. So there'll be scoring taken from this test and it will tag to the candidate's profile as well. So with our candidates profile dashboard, you have the capability to advance candidates to the next stage of the recruitment process, from interviewing to offering the job to keeping in view or blacklisting them. So everything can be done in a single dashboard, and once the offer has been accepted by the candidate, the data will then be seamlessly pushed into onboarding, which will trigger a series of onboarding tasks. So now that we're done with hiring the right person with the right skill set, it's time to move on to the next phase, which is reviewing. So I understand that there are a lot of different company cultures when it comes to performance review. Excuse me. So some companies may already have appraisal exercises that goes on year after year, and it seems like everything is going smoothly. But what we found out is a lot of them fail to follow up and provide guidance and actions after the gaps in the skill set have been identified during the appraisal cycles. So employee engagement is also a key challenge over here. So apart from performance reviews, managers have to constantly engage their team to ensure that they're doing okay and keeping up with their peers and moving along with the company. So anyone who is lagging behind will soon be demoralized, and it will cause a steep drop in their work performance. So in this same setting, Janice, who has come on board to the company, has just finished her probation and it's time for a performance review. So for us, we understand that appraisal framework varies across different companies. So the system is designed to cater to all of it. We can have the various appraisal approach. So it could be a top-down approach where the manager will appraise their staff, or a bottom-up approach where it begins from a self-assessment, or a 360 degrees peer appraisal. So the number of appraisal cycles done each year is configurable as well. We can work on an existing template that you already have, which you are already familiar with, by redesigning it with various sections and layouts. So we can integrate it together with the employee database to show employee records such as training records, past year performance records, or even disciplinary records as well. So individual training plans can be set up, which is unique to each and every one of our staff. So from here, they will identify the weak areas and gaps in the skill set that requires training, and managers can also recommend that they receive training in specific areas. So all this data will then be seamlessly passed over to our learning management system. So to provide a platform for constant feedback and coaching, we've created a journaling function in our appraisal system. So comments and feedbacks can be written as and when, and it can serve as a tool to engage your staff apart from the typical appraisal process. So there are audit logs of the entire conversation, and this can be pulled up during appraisal for referencing as well. So in order to improve employee engagement, we have configurable survey forms that can be designed according to your needs. So the forms can then be made anonymous in order to gather the most honest of feedbacks. So reports can then also be generated to consolidate the findings for your presentation to your management as well. So our system comes with a moderation function to help you during the moderation exercises. So multiple levels of moderation from department level to company-wide can be done to calibrate your staff ratings to conform to the bell curve for the ideal distributions to help in bonus provision exercises. So the third phase of an employee cycle is the retooling. So questions such as how do you improve your employees and increase their skills level to push your company forward are some of the questions over here. So the challenges faced here are managing business changes and talent development. So business changes, be it external or internal, often requires management to equip their staff with new skills or technology to adapt to them and keep up with it. So the challenge here is always on finding the right method and platform to execute the entire learning process. Talent development is about investing in them and providing them with effective training that is targeted at their weak spots. However, based on the study, we found out that some companies conduct training just to fulfill mandatory requirements and it's not producing the desired outcome. So remember Janice, who has finished her appraisal cycle, well now she has weak spots in a skill set that requires training and follow-up to increase her productivity at work. So one unique thing about LMS is that it can be built with the competency framework that structurizes the entire competencies across the different job level and position. So individual competencies would then be accessed and taken to map against the structure that was set up in the beginning to throw out the different gaps. So this phase of assessment can also be done during appraisal exercises as well. So remember the training plan that was done in appraisal? Well, the training plan from there is actually flowing into this training plan over here. So this is also combined together with the competency assessment to generate a list of courses that the employee should attend to improve themselves. So the courses can be applied directly from the screen as well. So apart from this, superiors and even the HR can also recommend courses that fall outside of the scope. So with the ongoing COVID-19 situation, so many companies are struggling with changes in their business model, and that's caused by this external factor. So the government has actually introduced a number of schemes that employers can tap on to train and reskill their workers to tide them over this sticky situation. So our system is able to track the various subsidies that's available to help you in your budget planning, so that you'll be able to take better advantage of this opportunity to upskill your workers. So different phases of evaluations can be triggered to evaluate the different training courses. You can mandate a pre-course form to find out the employee's objective before attending for the course. So as another post-course form can then also be triggered to determine the effectiveness of the course. So lastly, there can be another set of triggers that can be triggered to their manager after a period of time to evaluate the employee's performance after going for the courses. So courses which has expiry dates such as workplace safety or first aid courses can also have alerts tagged to them to notify you or the employee or their manager of the recertification periods as well. So the last phase of the employee cycle is the routing phase. So in this phase, it's all about employee progression and climbing the ranks. So routing essentially in HR context refers to the progression of an employee, and the two biggest problems here are identifying and developing the next gen leaders and also having succession plans in place for key positions in your company. So based on the studies, many HR practitioners have mentioned that their companies do not have a structured system in place to identify and groom employees. So there's also a lack of continuity planning for the various key positions. So the setting continues on from before. So Janice has shown great improvement and potential after going through the appraisal and the training exercises, and she's more engaged at work. So the management is thinking to groom her to take on bigger roles in the future. So if you have the right process in place for employee development, you would have developed a huge pool of potential employees by now who can be considered for key positions. So the question is, how do you qualify them actually? So this is where our talent assessment questionnaires can come into play. They are configurable with various scoring matrix behind them, and they can help to determine whether your employee has the potential to take on a bigger role. So assessment questions such as whether the employee is comfortable with traveling for work and whether he or she has aspirations to stay on and take up leadership position are some of the questions that you can help to qualify that pool of employees. So the results from the questionnaires can then be combined together with their performance scoring, and it will map according to our 9 grid box, with the x-axis being their potential and the y-axis being their performance. So this is where you can clearly see who is the cream of the crop and who you want to groom based on the gradients on the boxes. So the basis for each gradient of the box can also be configured according to your metrics. So proper succession planning will ensure that key positions in your company has continuity process in place. So the top stars identified in the 9-grid box can then have succession plans set up for them individually here. So an employee may have multiple succession plans as such, and at the same time, one position can have many successors as well. So jumping into the successors profile, you can set the milestones for them and track their activities year after year to ensure that they are on the right track. And you can clearly see their yearly performance ratings and their competency as well, and how it's faring compared to the position they're taking over. So the gaps identified here can then be pushed back to a learning plan, to the training plan back in our learning management system. So this entire process of recruiting, reviewing, retooling, to finally routing is then repeated in a loop over and over again, and this is only possible with the help of a robust HRMS like HRIQ. So just to round up what I've covered so far, as you can see, most of the challenges I've mentioned are commonly faced issues that are definitely not simple to solve. But with the help of our HRIQ system, we believe that we can provide an actionable solution to help increase the effectiveness of our HR processes. By providing a comprehensive solution, we leave the flexibility in your hands to decide how you want to oversee and manage your entire workforce while reducing the redundancies from the processes. So once again, thanks for joining us in this webinar. I hope you gained some insights on the mitigation strategies. So feel free to leave any questions you might have in the Q&A section, and we look forward to seeing you guys again for our next session. If you feel like you have existing issues that your HRMS is unable to address, feel free to give us a call or drop us an email, and perhaps we can talk about a solution that fits you.